Welcome back, everyone, to Paddling Pool 225. We are in grand finals. We have KGC versus Oro Jackson. This is Conroe, and I am still joined by Chili.
Hey everybody, welcome back. Thank you for bearing with us. Oro Jackson scraping by the semis on a 3-2. Please sub for us, really showing why they made it so far in the tournament. So big GGs to them. That's a good way to end their run. And we've got the two Titans that haven't dropped a set in their pools either that have made it to this point. So the first and second seeds are clashing. These are some of the best out there at the moment, and I feel very entitled to a Game 5 set, given that we just missed one off stream.
Yeah, that's true. We did. Oro Jackson and Please Sub For Us in the other semi-final. We saw Please Sub For Us a little bit early. I think we watched their second round match in the bracket. Yeah, 3-2 that one, so it went all the way. Oro Jackson had to fight to get here. They went to the final game against Octopi in quarter-final, who themselves had a little bit of a run. We had some upset sets earlier in the tournament, but we do have the top two seeds for the final. KGC, they've only got one game so far in the whole thing. They've been relatively comfortable, except for one game in the semi-final. So here we go with game one. We're going to see Zones, Inkblot, Art Academy.
And just giggling, looking at Oro Jackson, they're just like swim speed out the wazoo, like swim speed mains everywhere on all of their players. So expecting just lots of fast movement here, lots of aggression. We have a, 13 second Inkjet coming out, does manage to get a pick on the splash, and the ball point for KGC goes down as well, but then responded to in kind. So lots of splats in the first half a minute, but not much objective progress on either side.
Yeah, definitely. Still neutral specials coming out straight away. As always, the Crab Tank is forced all the way to the right, though. And it is KGC that takes it. Oh, my goodness. Okay. Two picks with the Carbon from Oro Jackson, so that zone is not going to be theirs for very long. Huge double pick from the Carbon at top. That's the danger of being too close together when you're against a Carbon. They'll have that Zuka ready as well, and you'll be punished the same way if you stand too close to each other there. So Oro Jackson take it back. Just some special charging on the side of KGC. That Crab Tank gets activated when that Slosher is right there. The Slosher is just trying to get something here. Fighting the Machine Promano top mid. There's just a bucket fight top mid right now between the Slosher and the Machine, and they both go down. Okami, the Carbon, comes in to clean up. 2v2, the zone is neutral. Oro Jackson just trying to take it back, but they're not able to, and the Crab Tank might actually flip it the other way.
Okami makes me laugh, and it isn't anything disrespectful. It's just a Carbon, just this cute little roller, just slapping and instantly deleting two people will never not be funny to me. That was just such a funny double on top. But yeah, this action's really kind of picked up here. We've had a number of kind of exchanges of the zone. KGC managing to extend the momentum a bit here, get the lead. They've lost their ball point, but the mid is still looking relatively in their favor, doing what they can to shut Okami down, who has retreated for now. And now Oro Jackson getting the picks they need to get back in this match. They're 4-2 up at the moment. That gives them a really good position to gain ground. Teaming up on the Crab Tank and managing to come out on top without a loss either. So that was very, very nice teamwork by them. So they've got a very small penalty to work off, but they've got the control of the high ground there with the ball point. That's going to be quite hard to disrupt, but the tactical are coming out now to start making those aggressive plays more comfortable.
Yeah, the caller came out, but they lost their pen pretty much straight away, and down goes another player as well. So they're just trying to make something happen with the Zap, just trying to stay alive at this point, really, just distract Oro Jackson for as long as they can. They do eventually go down. They'll have the caller effects at least, so they'll be back. Promano on this Machine, still getting the picks. They got a nice direct on that Crab Tank earlier as well when they took out. We've got Inkjet versus Inkjet, and they are trying to take out each other. Is anyone going to get this direct? Not quite, but Oro Jackson, they're very close to winning this. KGC, 2 players down. This might be game one. Oro Jackson, the pen, has to retreat here as well. They've just got to try and paint the zone at this point, and they're not going to be able to. Oro Jackson looking relatively comfortable there, taking game one.
And that's a good way to respond to the skeptics who might think Oro Jackson are perhaps the underdogs based on, having a couple of rough sets this tournament, but that is why they're the number 1 seed, folks. That is how terrifying they can be when they get that momentum and get set up. And yeah, that was a really, really solid second hold. It didn't really feel like KGC had much opportunities to reclaim once they got that momentum there during the second half. So very strong opening statement by Oro Jackson. But the beauty of the part of the tournament we're in is it is counter picks on maps and modes from here. So we'll see where KGC go to respond. Yeah, solid start.
Yeah, good stuff from Oro Jackson. Yeah, as we said before, they're the team that had to, they're the top seed, but they had to fight to get here with the last 2 matches both going to the deciding game. But they were pretty commanding there. I mean, KGC did push it down to 50 or 60, and we've seen what KGC can do. We've seen this is the 3rd match in a row we've seen them actually, so we know how good these players are, how good they are in fights. So hopefully this will be a really close final for us, because we unfortunately missed some of the closer matches in the brackets leading up to this, so it would be nice. And KGC have actually gone for Tower Sturgeon, which, if you remember the decider in the previous match, that's where they counterpicked as well. So going by experience, Benny GC is in the roster, so Blaster could well come out again unless they feel like it will be a poor pick against Oro Jackson. But they're really solid with that weapon, and of course Big Bubbler is always a nice pick on Tower as well.
I'll be surprised if we don't see the Benny Blaster based on how well it's been this evening, and I hope we see another phasing Big Bubbler as well, because that was quite entertaining when that happened on the previous run back. But yeah, it kind of has been the KGC show tonight, hasn't it? But yeah, they've been very, very entertaining in all their sets, so no complaints about that. It's going to be interesting to see how they respond. We haven't really seen them struggle much, as you say, Comro. So that was quite surprising to me to see just how commanding Oro Jackson were once they got that momentum. I don't expect every game to go that way, I'll say that much, based on how KGC have been playing, but they'll need a strong response here. The fact they've gone here immediately on the counter pick suggests this is a real comfort zone for them, though.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, they're clearly quite comfortable here. The Blaster is coming out. Was that an L3 or an H3 there for Obito? I think that looks like an H3, doesn't it? Cooler. H3 Cooler, interesting pick. I'm sure there's some logic behind that. Okami on the Carbon, there isn't much range, and the Machine, I mean, respect to Promano for making the Machine work in this meta, because Machine did drop off quite a lot after that nerf. Not that it can't work for sure, it's just a little bit slower. So maybe if KGC can rush them a little bit more. The Machine does struggle once you start to, pretty much play fast against them. The Carbon goes down, really good tri-strikes. Not quite able to get anyone, but they have bunched them up into the corner, and the Slosher goes down to the Machine, and suddenly it's 3 down for KGC. It's just the H3, and I don't know where they're coming from. I think they've had to back off as well. They're kind of stuck in court, and they go down as well. So Oro Jackson have quickly turned this round. They have tri-strikes ready to go as well. They've lost the Machine, but I think this push is still going to go. Having said that, there is an inch. All of a sudden, 3 down for Oro Jackson. They managed to push it to 53. It's just the splash, and the splash goes down as well. So that's almost a full wipe out there. So nicely turned around by KGC, and they locked out pretty well in their previous game on this map mode. So can they do the same here? They do have a Big Bubbler ready to go.
Yeah, that was an incredibly strong response from them, especially given that 3 of them went down at the beginning of the push and displaced them significantly. So to be able to regroup and respond with equal force, not an easy ask at all. And even though they've tried to get a bit of momentum back here, Oro Jackson managing to get 2 picks is going to deny that push and make it very short. But both initial checkpoints for both teams are gone. It's a relatively even playing field, given that we've got 3 minutes and a half on the clock. And everything's still to play for, really. Benny doing what they do best, where they're just so cheeky in their little underground bunker, and then managed to wreak havoc. Trying to do so again here, but being swiftly denied, and 3 down again on KGC. So Oro Jackson getting their second wind here to make something happen. The Sloshy Machine getting very, very deep very quickly, and showing that this weapon might have had reduced viability, but is still very much able to hang out with the greats. I must say as well, KGC's counter-pick weapon choices have been fascinating to me. Bamboozler and now H3. You just don't see it, but look at Oro Jackson here.
Yeah, Oro Jackson. I mean, the H3 pick hasn't worked out as well as the Bamboo did. They are 2 down. Oro Jackson so close to winning here. It's just a ball point, and they are going to push it all the way to the goal. The Carbon probably should have taken out Benny on the blaster at one point, but I mean, everyone on the team was following up anyway, so you know, it was easy work for Oro Jackson to get the push going. And they just kept the pressure up. As you said, the machine Promano just went up. I think they knew that, you know, players on KGC had been taken out, so they had a clear path to that right side area, the right snipe, and they took it. And once they were able to kind of take control of that bit, that was pretty much easy for them, because that is the important part. You know, that bit on the right, it's quite easy to defend from there. So if you're able to take control, all of a sudden it's really hard for the other team to come back in, especially if they don't have the weapons and the specials they need to stop the push from happening.
And we've seen a lot of KGC this evening, but we haven't quite seen them struggle to this extent. It's been a really powerful showing by Oro Jackson, of course, a very well-known team for good reason. They've been big in the Western scene for some time because of their consistency, because of their ability to compete with the greats. And yeah, they're showing here that even though they've had a couple of tournament points today where they've been on their kind of final stock, they, you know, that resilience just coming through, and yeah, maybe giving them even more kind of confidence than usual to have come in swinging like this going into the grand finals. Does look like KGC are eyeing up Rainmaker, so a mode switch here for the counter pick, but not sure where they're going to go for stage yet.
Yeah, well, the mode is being switched, so we're not too sure yet. Okay. It looks like it might be zones actually that they do go to. So yeah, we've seen Splat Zones Hagglefish for this one.
I'm laughing because we've got Pat in the chat, and we just always say, like, when in doubt, just Hagglefish Zones seems to be the counter pick meta. It just seems to be like a lot of people's go-to for good reason. Just a very fun map. Good kind of flanking routes. Very central, singular zone to deal with. I don't think Oro Jackson will necessarily feel troubled about being taken here. This seems to be a map mode that a lot of people like, but KGC no doubt very confident here if they're choosing this as their Hail Mary counter pick choice.
Yeah, definitely. I think Oro Jackson's comps work completely fine here. You know, Machine Carbon has these flanking options. I mean, the flanking options aren't amazing. Well, one side is, because you don't have to jump across a massive gap to get there. But have we seen the Carbon? Yeah, the Carbon's still in pretty much the same comp. They do still have a Neo Smash as well, and Tri-Strike here. You know, you're able to just spam Tri-Strike to take zone back. So the H3 is gone for KGC. They've opted not to bring that back. I think Obito is once again opting for the splatter shot, the regular one with Zuka, which again may come to more prominence in the next patch. But having said that, it is Oro Jackson that are dominating this straight away. They've picked off pretty much everyone on KGC. Bit of a delayed wipeout. So they have the zone. Very nice pick though from the pen for KGC, and they are going to follow that up with an Inkjet just to drive the rest of the players back, try and get something. The Zuka not able to take them out either. So it is KGC, if they can come back in, they're still trying it. The Tri-Strikes, so many specials coming out. The Machine, I don't think they went for a flank, they just machined down the right side. They haven't been able to take the zone back though.
Yeah, I mean, devastating start from Oro Jackson. Those staggered picks on KGC, really painful. KGC doing what we know them to do best, where they use the ballpoint as their main kind of initiator for a retake, and this is definitely going to be a cap for them here. That is 3 down, only the Machine alive. The Machine's gone into hiding for good reason. Everybody doing what they can to flush out where they are. The tactical are coming out for KGC now to get a push. Very nice pick on Okami there, so the Carbon is going to be denied some initial havoc. And Oro Jackson looked like being forced to use some specials just to kind of start getting ground again. So KGC in a position where they're holding quite nicely right now, despite the rough start.
Oh, and that's a pretty important trade, to be honest. The BR bomb's going to come out, though. Is that going to be enough to cap the zone? It's not going to be enough to stop them from taking lead. They do take it back after, but that is the lead switched to KGC. That was a pretty important trade. They had cooler effects, so they'll come back in straight away. And KGC look a bit more comfortable here. It is 2v2 for the moment. Promano is alive, just trying to keep the zone, trying to keep pressure on, just trying to poke with this Machine. Oro Jackson getting the jumps back in. Promano is probably going to try and shoot up at that platform from the right side with the machine. They're maintaining control for now. They do have quite a big penalty to work through. Out comes the BR bomb from Pamano. Can they get the picks? Benny's forced to drop, gets the pick. They're going to flank. They get taken out, but importantly, that's 2 down for Oro Jackson. Is that going to be the zone? They still can't get it, but that's so many players down for Oro Jackson. Surely they're going to get the zone, and they do. More penalty points for Oro Jackson. KGC retains it.
Just wanted to get a pick first, you know, before getting the main objective, that's all. But yeah, the tone of this game has shifted significantly from the start that was looking so scary. There's been a lot, that was gorgeous. There's been a lot of retakes on both sides, but I think it definitely feels a bit scrappier now, and I would say KGC holding for slightly longer in between engagements. Again, a Tri-Strike having to come out in spawn. I'm being responded to by a Tri-Strike deep into spawn. So yeah, Oro Jackson struggling here, even though they got 2 picks, losing 2 plays themselves. Jets having to come out just to kind of get the retake going here. It looks like that is going to pay off for Oro Jackson, and they are now going to try and get into KGC's territory, but KGC definitely have woken up after a rough start this set.
Yeah, we both just had to comment on that nice fall off pick, because that was so nice from the ball point there. And yeah, KGC doing a really good job of following up. You know, they did lose the zone eventually, but they got more points on the board, and just right now they're taking the zone back as well. So they seem to be way more comfortable in this game than previous. And the nice final Zuka shot there, taking out Pramano. They've got a caller ready to go as well. The splash shot's going to ignore that. They'll just go get a pick. They could get another one. No, the Carbon was there to clear up. And can the Carbon get anything here? They've got to watch for that, for the kiting for the distance, because it doesn't have much range. The Zuka's ready to go, and they get a pick on Cam with that. Can they get a second? No, they're just going to apply some pressure. Everyone back for Oro Jackson. The machine goes down, though. It's pretty neutral. They have the zone. They almost worked through their penalty time. They could be about to lose it, though. There's just so much paint, so much pressure coming out from KGC, and it's just a fight for zone right now.
I am loving this. I feel like we start one sentence, and by the time we end it, our information's obsolete with how quick the game's changing. It's absolutely beautiful. There's been some really big near misses here, but what is pretty crucial now is there's 30 seconds on the clock. No doubt nerves kicking in, and KGC lost 3 players, and then their NZAP got picked off before a cooler could come out. So Oro Jackson have a really good opportunity to hold here with 20 seconds on the clock, and they only need it for 20 seconds. So this is their opportunity to deny KGC the momentum they need to get back into this set. They've got 10 seconds to make something happen. The Carbon is down. That is 2 picks down, but they need the zone now. The Tri-Strike coming out to extend the lead. It is going to do so, and KGC losing the lead as we go into overtime with a hefty penalty to work off. That is a heartbreaker, but this is still very, very doable for them, Comro.
It definitely is. That was a huge Tri-Strike from the Slosher, but KGC crucially got the zone back just before the end of the game, so they are at least going to get overtime here. The inject comes out. They need picks here, Oro Jackson, but they've lost a player. The zap goes down for the other team. Can they keep this? The Tri-Strike comes out. Surely they can keep this, and they do. Oh, Jackson took the lead back just before the 5 minutes were up, but KGC, they did at least what they had to do to take the zone back. There wasn't too much of a penalty timer to run down. They get the final clutch picks they need, and they take a game 2-1. We might have a game on here in the final.
I am hungry for more of this. I need to be satiated, and my heart was breaking for them at the end, because KGC working so hard for that win, only to be denied by Oro Jackson's resilience and consistently, and then plot twist, nope, KGC not going to be phased. I think a lot of teams there, the nerves would have kicked in, but KGC showing why they're the second seeds, why they're considered such a threat, and managing to hold their nerve enough to take that back in overtime in such a challenging situation. That was such a well-earned point. And yeah, we've got a set on our hands here. They've got to get 2 more. That is not an easy ask, reverse sweeping Oro Jackson, but they'll be feeling good about that. Hopefully they'll be feeling a bit of relief and a bit of confidence that they can break it. There are cracks in Oro Jackson's armor, and yeah, Oro Jackson now thinking of where to take them to try and close this out.
Yeah, definitely. 2-1. What a game that was. Yeah, they just took control of the zone. The Carbon, I think the Carbon was kind of shocking, but in an awkward spot, so they just had to go for a pick, and they weren't able to get it. KGC cleaned up pretty nicely. and after that they just didn't have the players up. So we're into game 4. KGC do get a point on the board. It's going to be a little bit more difficult because Oro Jackson have the counter pick now, so we're going to stay with zones actually, despite the mode being what KGC just won, but we're going to go to Mako Mart instead, and I can definitely see why Oro Jackson have picked this with their comp, assuming Primano stays on the machine. I think machine is a pretty decent weapon here, you know, with all the elevated blocks and platforms. I think machine can definitely work here, so this will be an interesting one. KGC of course have to win to keep the set going, but hopefully they got some momentum after that one.
Yeah, so we keeping to the same objective, but in a very, very different playground here. I think Okami is going to be pretty scary here too. Carbon has a couple of options here in terms of places where it can really do some work and get the jump on people. So composition-wise, we do see the machine still as we expect, the Carbon as we expect coming in. Benny is sticking with the splatter shot that they used last game over the blaster, understandably, given that we're in zones right now. So yeah, I want to see more of this. I hope KGC can kind of show us what they brought to last game. And with 2 picks, 3 picks, wipe out. Okay, yeah, that KGC are feeling it after that last win, and that is how you come out swinging, Conroe.
Yeah, well, I said about momentum, and they've immediately shown that they still have it. 15 seconds into this, they've got 6 splats in this game, I think, already, and they haven't lost a single player in return. The Carbon gets 1 at least, and they do stay alive, but that player had cooler, so they're going to come back pretty quickly, and KGC making some kind of statement here. They do lose 1 player, but the zone already down to 50, and they've lost the Carbon again as well. The machine is going to try and get a pick on this side with the help of the Inkjet. Cam trying to shark on that side, but gets taken out. They haven't got the zone back though. More points going for KGC. They do eventually cap it, but that's a very nice start for them. They do lose some players here. The ball point might just need to stay alive if they're not able to. They tried to stall them for a little bit, but yeah, good start from KGC. But Oro Jackson in control now. Let's see how they respond.
KGC treating the beginning of that match like a speed run. Honestly, that was absolutely disgusting, and it might affect Oro Jackson in the sense of how confident they feel making some aggressive plays there, because KGC matching them mechanically for skill beautifully. But that being said, Oro Jackson might have picked this map mode for a reason, I'm sure, and look at how they're holding now. The ball point is positioned on the left box beautifully, where it can threaten the entire map. The Zuka coming out just to try and deny them that space, but suddenly KGC unable to find their way back home. The Zap going down, the Jet having to come out to do what they can to get some picks, but they need to stop this timer soon. Oro Jackson holding incredibly well right now. That is 2 players down, so this is the best chance they've got. KGC moving in. You need to stop that timer now. Do the firefighting afterwards. But Oro Jackson already better. Everyone alive contesting this zone, and this will be the engagement that decides it. And with KGC losing 2 players, tragically, after such a strong start that game, that will be their run coming to an end. What a turnaround there by Oro Jackson.
Yeah, definitely. We do see this quite a lot with zones games. You know, everyone's experienced this, whether it's comp or X-Battle or whatever it is. You can have a zones game, starts really well, but then as soon as the other team takes the zone and it's their turn to take control, suddenly it just falls apart. They're able to lock out a little bit better than your team can, and you just can't get back in together, which, I mean, that's what it's a little like that's what happened there, because it was such a strong start for KGC, you know. You know, and they did pretty much the same thing as Oro Jackson. They pushed up as they should. They managed to get it all the way down to 38. But Oro Jackson, once they had the zone, they just, you know, we saw Primano kind of poking around on the right side with the machine. And even if they lost a few players, I mean, I think at worst they got trades, which at that point, KGC needs better than that. You know, they can't be trading at that point. They need the players to come back in. And I think just nice stalling, because Oro Jackson, right near the end, they lost 2 players still, but they were able to stall. They didn't get splattered. The other players jumped in and they won that final fight to take the match and the tournament.
Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree with that analysis. I think they'd have been really happy with trades in that situation when it got to that point. I mean, you know, we've got to give Oro Jackson credit for their resilience this tournament. They've had a couple of times where their run could have come to an end, and they've just found that strength to make it happen, showing there why that was such a smart counter pick for them, because once they got control, they just never gave it up. I believe it was pretty much a straight 100-0, wasn't it, on the ticks when they had the zone. So Yeah, that was incredibly well played by them. And they'll be taking the crown, but KGC can be so proud of what they've brought today. They've got a lot of screen time and been incredibly entertaining. And yeah, it gave us a real nail biter in that previous game, and a lot of entertainment swinging into that last match as well. So yeah, fantastic players all around, as we're used to seeing in Paddling Pool every single week, as Popgun pointed out. when the world ends, Paddling Pool will still find a way to continue. But yeah, just awesome stuff. High-paced, constant carnage. That is why I love this game.
Oh yeah, same here. You know, we didn't get any game fives there towards the end, but we still saw I mean, the semi-final and the final, I think, were both just so exciting. Some really close games coming out. You know, I think Hagglefish Zones was just the highlight if we're going to pick one particular game for this one. And yeah, just really good stuff again from by Paddling Pool. Congrats to Oro Jackson for taking it. You know, they were, as we said before, pushed hard in their final 3 rounds, but the top seed got it done in the end.
They did indeed, and yeah, that brings us to an end for today. But don't be sad, folks. We have Triton Cup on Friday, and as people will know by now, Paddling Pool never misses a week. If you know, every Wednesday, come back here. You'll see more action like this. So thank you so much as always for the folks that have joined us. It's lovely to have you here. It's always a privilege to commentate and be a part of it. And yeah, it's been super fun having you with me as well, Conro. Because when I first got into commentating, you were there to kind of help me settle in. And yeah, it's nice to be with you again once I've kind of found my feet with it a bit.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, your commentary is really good. I've heard you commentate quite a bit since we commentated, whenever that was, however many months ago. So yeah, sadly I don't get to do this as much, but it's always nice to come on here and commentate this.
And a massive shout out to, thank you, Conro, and yeah, a massive shout out to Brownie as well, our wonderful streamer, as always, keeping things running smoothly, reprogramming us when we have brief robot voices. Apologies for that, but Brownie quick on the response. And I guess, yeah, just quick shameless plug before we go. Where can people find you, Conro?
Yeah, sure. On Twitch, I'm just Conro. I managed to get that handle somehow. And on, yeah, as Sari said, Twitter, or whatever it's going to be called, Conro_UK. Oh, no, wait, sorry, Conro_SPL. I forgot I changed it.
Nice stuff. And yeah, folks, you're probably sick of me at this point, but yeah, chiliboy_splat. I'm still going to refer to it as Twitter for now. I don't want to accept that the little birdie's gone and their tweets at the end of the day. So yeah, the X branding not quite working for me yet, but you can find me there. That'll bring us an end for today, folks. Thank you so much for joining us. It's been a privilege being with you all. And yeah, if you want more Dappling Productions action, come back on Friday. Triton Cup, zones only, but it is always nail biters, and the caliber of teams just keeps getting more and more intense. Like, the community continues to grow, people continue to help each other level up, and yeah, it's awesome stuff. So do come along on Friday if you want to see more live Splatoon carnage.
Yeah, definitely. Triton Cup is always a fun time. I think I was able to play in the last one. Not this time, but maybe commentating again. We'll see. Either way, you'll have some great commentators for Triton Cup. I can guarantee that.
Yeah, absolutely. Have a lovely rest of your afternoons and evenings, folks, and we'll see you again soon.
Bye, everyone.